So we talked about flipping. We talked about low level stuff, business to consumer platforms like Uber, Wag, Walking Dogs. What about like Airbnb? Have you seen that as as a successful model for a side hustle? I've seen guys promote programs where they're like, I'll show you how to make, millions of dollars without actually owning the real estate. You just kind of lease it, and they have like a plan and a program. You ever seen those?
Yeah, I've seen them. I don't know a whole lot about them, but I do know that you're kind of just like similar to Uber. You're kind of building a business on top of somebody else's platform in a way
Hmm.
that kind of scares me in some ways. And I'm not sure what happened to all the Airbnbs in Tennessee here where I live, but I think they might be hurting right now because of what's been going on.
Hmm.
Um, and I guess if you have contingency plans, if Airbnb, either go, it's probably not going to go offline, but if they start to cut into your profits, you got to think about that. But other than that, I really don't know much about it. But those are kind of things off the top of my head that kind of scare me.
Yeah, I just
Um,
want to chime in on that Airbnb thing because I had a friend that used to, I guess, Airbnb his place, and then when they would book it, he'd go off on vacation. They'd stay there. He'd come back. They would actually pay for his vacation, sort of thing. And it seemed like a pretty good gig. The only problem was the local government municipality where he lives caught wind of people doing short-term rentals, and they changed the local legislation to enforce a new law that basically taxes you for running a short-term rental in your principal residence. So if you can picture this, like you've bought your house, you pay your property taxes on your house, whether you have a mortgage or not is not relevant. But now all of a sudden the local authorities figured, all right, well, if these guys are doing short-term rentals and making 5, 10, 15, $20,000 a year, let's figure out a way to tax them on it. So they passed new legislation for STRs, they call it a short-term rental.
hmm,
And I think the annual fee is $5,000 to be able to offer out like your own property that you own and you pay for, and you already pay property taxes on. So you have to pay them for that. And if you're not paying it, then they go and enforce a levy against your property, meaning if you choose not to, but you have your property listed on Airbnb and they catch wind of it, which they do because they check it now. I think there's some cross-reference checks now where Airbnb sends that information to the local government. And if they catch you on it, then they place a lien against your house for the $5,000. You can't discharge your mortgage. You can't renew your mortgage. You can't sell your house without paying that lien, which of course accrues interest. So a lot of these notions of, yeah, just go do this and that, like lease out your house, walk people's dogs, drive a car, all of these B2C components, all these business to consumer like marketplaces that connect to people, they don't have longevity and they don't have the opportunity to make the big bucks. And I think that's where most people focus on side hustle money, like how to make that extra money or to build up, like I'm working on my side hustle, but they don't understand what they're getting into.
yeah, and it's difficult because I mean the long term things it might be slow in the beginning, but you got to be able to build up that equity or that snowball effect is what I'm always looking for. How can this snowball into something bigger? So
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I knew in Chicago with the Airbnbs, I think there was some legislation against them that that kind of killed that there, but I wasn't sure. So
I think it's starting to spread around. Like I know there's some areas where they're still free and clear, but as soon as the local government, who's always hungry for tax revenue, figures out,
yeah,
oh, look, they're doing it here and it seems to work, and they've generated X amount of tax revenue. I mean, if it's practically a wash, if you're making 15, 20 grand a year renting out your principal residence, and all of a sudden the local office wants 5,000, plus they
that's a
also charge a
lot.
fee for every rental. It's like, dude, you're charging 25% on what I'm earning all of a sudden. And plus you have to pay income tax on that money too, right? So not only are you paying income tax to the federal government, I mean, here anyway, you also have to pay the local municipality a $5,000 fee for the privilege of renting out your own freaking home, right?
Oh my gosh.
These things erode over time.